Greetings. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. On the last video, I mentioned a very important technique that will help you have better results with any type of magic that you do, especially evocation and invocation. That special technique is called mental transmutation, according to the Kabbalion. That's what it's listed as there. But the technique essentially is when you perform your ritual and you expect a certain result, you take the emotions and the feelings that you have currently and you offer them up as a sacrifice. Then you begin to generate the emotions and the feelings of the outcome that you're looking for. You take the time to exist in that now, in that present feeling that you anticipate to have, but you live as if it was happening in the moment. And essentially what you're doing is you're transforming the feelings that you're attempting to replace and then actually replacing them in your mind. You do this attached with certain symbolic things like the sigils or the spirits. You do this with repetition. And what this does is it impacts the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind being the generator of reality. As you're feeding it these feelings and these symbols with repetition, you begin to produce change. So what is the definition of transmutation? Transmutation is the act of changing something from one state to another, from one polarity to another, from one form to another. So mental transmutation is changing your thoughts from one into another. And this sounds very simple, but it's easily overlooked because you've got to pay attention every day to the thoughts that are going through your head over and over and over repetitiously, because you're performing the same magic automatically on yourself, because your life is a product of your repetitive thoughts. So if you don't like where things are now, you begin to introduce new thoughts into that repetitive loop. So if the mind is all and the universe is mental, then mental transmutation is the art of changing the universe. Because if the universe exists in the mind of the all, if the universe is composed of thoughts, which are vibrations, then essentially starting from your center, your point of consciousness, and you deliberately change the thoughts that are going through your head, as opposed to letting the five senses of the body dictate how you're feeling, or letting another person dictate how you're feeling, or another situation dictate how you're feeling. Instead of being influenced by the outside, you begin to influence the outside from within. And this is really the core of any type of magic that's produced. It's impacting the subconscious mind. How do you impact the subconscious mind? With repetition, with symbols, and through trauma. Our personalities are a conglomeration of all of our past experiences. All the things that we went through, the good, the bad. If we have trauma from childhood, that is a huge shaper of your perspective of how you see reality and the thoughts that you think on a daily basis. If you have issues with money, problems with money, then it's very likely that this stems from some experiences you had in childhood. Maybe with your parents or overhearing them talk about money. Any number of situations. So if you're not getting results with the magic that you work, instead of trying to find a different spirit to work with or a different book that has the answer, the best place to start is to go within and to look at what thought patterns might be hindering you from accepting results. Because one thing you got to remember is when the universe delivers what you're asking for, many times it doesn't come through the channel that you expect it to. So if you've got blinders on based on negative thought patterns, you'll often miss when the results are showing up. So it might be that the magic is working. It's just that based on your perspective, because of certain flaws or issues, you miss it entirely. So really, for a deeper and a more clear understanding of this technique, of this subject matter, I would definitely refer you back to the book, The Kabbalion. And I would look into the chapter that is called Mental Transmutation, that goes in depth on the subject. And what you'll find is that each one of these 7 principles connect to each other. Each one of them is like another way of saying what the other one is about. As above, so below. The principle of polarity. The principle of vibration, right? It's all about the dynamics of the universe. The 2 different sides, the 2 different poles, and everything that happens in between. You really have more control over your reality than you probably believe. If things aren't working out, instead of seeking blame or some other outlet, the best way to go is to seek a solution. To seek what can be done right now to change the outcome. And a lot of times we get impatient, but understand that change takes time, and it takes little steps that have to be done daily. And even those steps are going to be preceded by certain thoughts. It all starts in the mind. You have to change and control what thoughts are going through your head on a day-to-day basis. And if you take the time to implement this, you begin to see that your world does begin to change, sometimes in little ways, but those little ways compile into bigger ways. And before you know it, your outside world begins to look like your inside world, your thoughts. So, this was a short message. And if you have not already, I would certainly request that you go and join the Facebook group, The Magus Society. You'll find the link in the bio here. This is TK Trav, aka Travis Magus, here with LVX777. Peace.